Okay, this video is going to be a demonstration of solving a double radical equation. There are a couple others that I've posted, so you can just check out either one you want, or just see the difference between them. Okay, remember that when you do double radical equations, the first step is to always isolate one of the radicals, and it doesn't really make any difference which one you do. So let's do that let's isolate this one, so we'll move this one over to the other side. Again, I'm just going to write here as a reminder, isolate one radical. Just as a good general way to start. So I am going to subtract radical x plus 6 from both sides, and I end up with radical x minus 5 is equal to 11 minus radical x plus 6. When I do that, I've got an isolated radical on one side. Now, the way you get rid of, or the way you undo, so to speak, a radical is to square it, when it's a square root anyway. So in this step, let's do that. X minus 5 quantity squared is equal to 11 minus radical x plus 6, again, quantity squared. Now again, make sure you don't just square this part and this part separately. You can't do that. What you're doing is squaring the whole side, which makes this a FOIL instead of just an individual squaring. Alright, I'll get to that here in a second. Let me show you. Square root of this side gives me just x minus 5. It cancels out. The radical cancels out the exponent. On this side, I come up with 11 minus radical x plus 6 times 11 minus radical x plus 6. Okay, again, just a caution. Don't just square these individuals. It's not 121 minus x plus 6, okay? Now I've got a little bit of work to do on this side. I need to FOIL that. So 11 times 11 is 121. 11 times a negative radical x plus 6 is minus 11 radical x plus 6. The inside terms are exactly the same, so it's going to be minus 11 radical x plus 6, and then negative radical x plus 6 times negative radical x plus 6 is plus x plus 6. Because a negative times a negative is a positive, and then just the underneath just gets exposed. Okay, what I need to do now is gather my like terms. So let me just do that. 121 plus 6 is 127. I have a plus x, and then a minus 22 radical x plus 6. Remember, if they're the same radicals with the same index, you go ahead and just treat them like they're variables. So it would be like saying minus 11x minus 11x is minus 22x. That's just a good way to think about it. Okay, let's continue on here. I'm getting close to now where I've gone from two radicals to one radical, so let me just isolate the radical again, and we'll start the whole procedure over again, but with a little bit easier math probably. So I've got an x on both sides, so let's cross those out. And then I have a negative 5 minus 127. That's going to give me a negative 132 is equal to a negative 22 radical x plus 6. Now what I'm going to do here, remember I'm almost isolated my radical. I could probably square both sides, but I'd end up with some pretty large numbers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide 132 divided by 22. Let me just put that in here. Divide both sides by negative 22. Negative 132 divided by negative 22. Negative 22 radical x plus 6. Negative 22. And that gives me 6. X plus 6. Which is a nice even number to work with. Okay, so now when I'm at this stage, it's pretty straightforward. Let me just square both sides, and I'm going to end up with 36 is equal to radical x plus 6. Whoops, sorry about that. I'm going to end up with 36 is equal to x plus 6. Let me subtract 6 from both sides, and I get 30 is equal to x. And that looks pretty good. Let's check it to make sure that it works. 30 minus 5 is 25. Square root of 25 is 5. 30 plus 6 is 36. The square root of 36 is 6. 5 plus 6 does equal 11. This answer works. Okay, good luck. I hope that helped you.